episode 6.
6.
This is episode 6, Guys Talking Pies. Guys and gals talking pies. We just finished up a lunch.
Yes.
Free trade, Doylestown, new chapter. Growing chapter, 10 people right now?
12.
12. I'm sorry, I miscounted. I miscalculated.
Well, we didn't have a full roster today, but we have 12 currently, and then growing.
Plus, got to be the best venue. No offense to anyone else. But
no, this is amazing.
gotta
We're
be
in
one of
the
the best
basement
venues.
of the Hattery in Doylestown. There will be probably while this is airing, we should be having a happy hour at one point. The
Yes.
happy hour is going to be on
The 17th of October.
17th of October. We're going to do 4:30 to 6:30.
Yep.
4:30 to 6:30 in the speakeasy section of the Hattery. I don't know if that's what it
100%.
is, but that's what I'm calling it. No windows for those of you who like to drink that way. It's a perfect venue if you don't like sunlight.
So we wouldn't be guys and gals talking pies without pie. So we have key lime, my kryptonite, peanut butter, looks like Reese's cup type, knockoff, and apple crumble.
Lovely. Thank
Outstanding. And food here was fantastic as well.
Really good.
We have a guest with us, as always.
you. Kate Finlay. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Pat DiCola.
Tom O'Neill. A&M Friendly Movers.
So I have 2 companies. I have it's called 281 Project.
Okay.
And there's 281 Project, which is strategic marketing. So essentially, I help my clients and small to medium-sized companies figure out what they need to do, how they need to grow, what does their branding look like, how we differentiate them in the marketplace, and then how to essentially make their operation as tight as possible. One of the key things when we're talking about growth in a company is what does your structure look like? Not just your employees, but internally. How do you make your employees' lives easier? Simple as a document, having everything in the same consolidated repository, which we talk about a lot with Just Free Trade. So important because you're not burning time and frustration with your employees.
Okay.
But then what does your succession plan look like? A lot of owners are on the older end of things and they're looking to retire or, shepherd someone that's coming up. Who are your stars? And I help identify those particular tenors of how we actually manage business. And then the other business I have is a home organization business. So that's 281 Project Home. And I started that about a year ago, just out of creative desire to do something fun. And I have a team of young ladies who help me. There's a gentleman who would like to join too, which is kind of interesting. So there's some students who actually want to help me, and they can intern and do fun things. So it's fun and keeping it busy.
So you straighten people and businesses out. Basically the same thing,
Yes.
just
Yeah. The application is the same,
and-
physically and professionally.
Professionally.
Yeah.
And 281, that's your birthday, right? You're February of 81?
Yes, I was born in 81, naturally. So 281 actually came from my first organization job. So a very dear friend of mine. She was in a bit of free fall. She has a house that I went in and completely revamped. She has a lot of super cool things that she just didn't know how to place them, and life gets overwhelming. She is a yoga instructor and she has a thrift business. She used to have a clothing store. So she was just overwhelmed by all of these little things. And I went in for actually like 3 months.
Oh, wow.
And because you can't do it day in, day out. You kind of have to section it out because it's too much for the client to have someone in your home 5 days a week, or it could go longer. But it's good to do it like a couple days and then come back. And that's what I do a lot with clients, is figure out like 2 days back to back in the week, or at least 2 days if it's a bigger project, just to kind of get the momentum. But the 281 is her address, so it's a bit of an homage to her and her mom, who actually hired me and kept me on.
Was that your first?
It was my first formal organization job, but I've been doing this my entire life. I'm the person who goes to people's homes and I look in their pantry. I'm like, can I do this? I always have to be busy, so I look at like 17 minutes before I had to get in the car.
Is it a reflection of your own life being in disarray?
I don't think I appreciate that. No, my life is super simple. It's very simple. It's uncomplicated and easy now. So no, it's good. But yeah, it's I just try and help people make their lives easier without a lot of complication, expense. You don't buy things to stick your things in things. That annoys me. I feel like people don't know the treasures they have, and more importantly, how they can better utilize them within the construct of the home. And that applies to business too. They don't know the tools they have because they create stuff. You see this all the time, I'm sure. They create stuff and then they forget. And sometimes you have to relook at that and say, all right, where are all of our things? How are we going to maximize that? What does the branding look like? What's your brand awareness? How do you want to build that? I mean, Coke didn't start out where it is, Apple, all these massive brands. Not that,
Let me ask you something. This is a hard question, but if you had to choose one, like if one got super busy, which one would you want that to be? I always tell kids, like my kids, I say, my mom and dad, if you had to kill one of us.
I think it's a tough question. I mean, I love both. If I'm going to do it for financial reasons, I'm going to stick with the marketing. But
I think the marketing's probably got to be you, or the other could be.
I can outsource that. Like I have a team of people that are 1099s, and I can plug them into anywhere. And these are all very specific people. These are women I've known for a lot of years. I know their style. I know how they decorate and put things together. So I trust them. I'll oversee it and check in and do all those things, but it's certainly something I can outsource very easily. And we're also starting into our holiday support. So going into both indoor and outdoor, we can actually decorate. And it's a personal love of mine, but it's very easy.
It's not the decorating that's a problem, generally.
It's getting it back.
It's the putting it.
Yeah.
Well,
we still have Christmas lights up from 3 years ago at the office.
There's that, but I mean, I'm not going to go outside and wire stuff, but more of the detail of the design outside. I mean, we can shift things, but it's more like your window boxes and what does the entrance look like, and I can make wreaths. Fun fact.
Is this for really wealthy people?
No, not at all. It's for.
I didn't think so. Knowing you, I didn't think so. I just was
that's
curious.
not the intention. I don't want it to be cost prohibitive. I want people, our homes, which we should spend the majority of our time. It's supposed to be a calm place. It's supposed to be a place where you can just be at ease. And a lot of times we're moving so quickly, we work so hard, we outsource everything. This is one of the things people will outsource. But I think what's really critical is to understand, again, as we talked about in our meeting, it's very intimate. So I'm spending time, or my team's spending time with people, and you have to have a comfort level. They become attached pretty quickly, which is funny and sweet. But at the same time, we have a job to do.
Because it's therapy.
It is therapy to start, because they're cleansing themselves on some level, and it forces them to look at things they haven't looked at in quite a while, which is always a bit eye-opening, I think, for people. But yeah.
So what path got you to where you are? So
So yeah, how am I here?
Well, sure. I mean, do you have a marketing? What about the marketing side?
So-
Did you come out of some thankless corporate hellhole?
I don't know what you're talking about. I did spend 25 years in pharmaceutical marketing, which is super fun.
Okay.
It's a different challenge. It's navigating regulatory and compliance and all that kind of thing. I have purposely chose to take that experience and not use it in pharma.
Okay.
I manage other types of businesses, but pharma, there's a definite fatigue that I had with it. But it's not as fulfilling as it once was. And now the clients I have are far more fulfilling. You just have a lot more latitude with what you're trying to accomplish. But yeah, taking those principles and applying them. And it's funny, what pharma does super, super well is they market and they beat that up. And they put together very comprehensive plans. Like they started doing that 2 months ago for the year ahead. Most companies will. But when you're working with smaller clients, they don't always know what to do. What are the key performance indicators? What is, whatever the thing is, they just need to know how they maximize what they have to work as hard as it can for them.
Do you have a vertical you like to work in? Meaning other?
I don't. I mean, so just to give you a snapshot, I've worked in finance, real estate, nonprofits, politics, which I don't think I'd go back to, all different kinds of areas of small business that really just identify what they're doing, because each one is unique. Again, the application of marketing strategy, as you well know, it's the same. It's just how to make it specific to that that area of expertise, whatever that is, construction, landscape, whatever it is. It's easy to do. It's just thinking, you have to figure out where they are in the marketplace and then build around that.
It's almost like forced common sense in a lot of cases.
A little bit.
Because
a little bit.
A catchphrase that I learned that's kind of goofy, but it's true. You can't read the label from inside the bottle. So in a lot of cases, the path is so obvious, but people are so clouded on what their objective is or how they want to do things.
Yeah.
And they're a sample size of one when it comes to, should we do this? Yes, we're going to do this.
And the other thing is, I think it's very important to engage your leadership, right? Like we do that here. You're at the tip of the spear, but you need all your lieutenants to support it and grow it and all these things. The application is the same. It's a matter of understanding, CEO, CFO, COO, whatever that your C-suite looks like, what's underneath you, how do we engage? So those are influencers, not necessarily decision makers, although some could be. But then who do you want to pluck from your, supportive staff? Like
right.
I was at a very early age, I think I was like 20, 21. I worked for a restaurant because I was the majority of my 20s going through college, whatever. And I have been given the opportunity to sit down with like this one particular restaurant. They asked me to come to Morristown, New Jersey and sit with the president of the company because they liked my ideas. And because again, to your point, like I think of it as, and everyone can relate to a restaurant. If you just come in as an owner, you don't understand the back of the house, which is
right.
will make or break anything. Sure. And that applies to any business, right? You're looking at how does, what is the busser doing? What is the dishwasher doing? What is the level of expectation and how are you training them? Again, training is a great idea for most, but a lot of companies don't do it. And a lot of employees think it's a waste of time, which it's not. Yeah. And the thing is, I don't think, when you're trained in sort of the first month, that retention doesn't remain. So you have to, there's a refresher. But there's so many ways you can make it fun. So many ways. Nobody wants the slide deck that you have to do forced questions of,
Sexual harassment in the workplace.
We all know.
5
Just
times a year.
have a backbone.
So